this again. We're going live again.
You're live.
Can you just take this, Isaac, and honestly just pop it in the Lodestar General chat? Because even if it's just our employees, I don't really care.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Sure.
If it makes Jesse happy.
We're back.
We're back. No one's watching.
We'll edit this after the fact.
Well, yeah, we'll merge this together. Thank you, everyone. We're sorry for the technical difficulties. We will have a merged together version of this live stream post. We're gonna give it a couple seconds while we at least message our employees that we're here again, and as well as a few other people. So Isaac's on that. Whew, I am sweating after those 2 ghost pepper chips in a way that I did not think was possible. I will say that. Whew.
Sorry, we've now brought out our co-sponsor Tums.
Mm-hmm.
For this.
So one fun fact while we wait a minute here is that all of our all of our booths, if we have a full booth, I will say, I'm going to make this little disclaimer here. So if we have a 10 by 10 at a conference, please come see us. We have Tums, we have Liquid IV, we have ibuprofen, deodorant,
which is the most popular.
which is actually it's spotlight item is the deodorant. So we have seen the booth do really well for us. So that's why we have Tums in our office. And also I'm an over-prepared person for every situation, especially for trade shows. So if you do a trade show with us and you need ibuprofen, even if we don't have a booth, I have it on me. Awesome. Okay. This next chip, we're doing it. Is this more ghost pepper?
Definitely.
Are these just like ghost pepper chips?
You just put ghost pepper on everything.
I put ghost pepper on some of them.
I feel like a wimp if I skip out.
No.
That feels like a regular chip.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
What was on it though?
I mean, just a little bit.
Just a little bit of ghost pepper.
Depends on whose household we're in. Okay. Well, let's keep going together.
No, we're still
Oh,
on the chips.
Dave is saying he misses Dave.
Dave,
Hey Dave.
Dave, do you
Right
like
here.
our Dave? It's a big question. We tried to make you to scale, but I think it made you 2 inches too short. Sorry
We
about
cut
that.
off your feet a little bit. That's why.
Yeah. No, he is better looking in person. You are better looking in
are.
person.
You are.
100%.
Absolutely.
Less pixelated too.
Yeah, more jacked.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, give us the next chip.
Well,
Are these just straight ghost pepper? Oh my god,
Oh,
there's
no.
so much ghost
Oh,
pepper
no.
on this.
Oh no.
you can pass.
I'm not gonna
I'm not
pass.
gonna pass. Who came up with this other than Tim?
It's someone who lives chronically online, right? Like that's what this has to be.
This was so it was kind of a combination. So the team had a document going around that you asked me to do. It's not mine.
I
It
did.
was yours.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Sorry.
I thought you'd pass that one. Just gonna say that as
So
We're not bad. Like,
There's so much ghost pepper.
yeah. So that is a ghost pepper chip. It's like manufactured to have it intentionally. That I added more to.
You added more ghost
how
pepper to
many
the
bags
ghost
of
pepper
chips
chip?
did you get for this?
A couple.
It's fine. We'll eat them in the office.
So funny story.
Oh my god.
I had it was supposed to be like Doritos, and I had other things. It was like more normal stuff. The idea was not to just.
Roy George is on. Hey Roy.
But then
Oh god.
Elena has a
Woo!
different allergy. So
So sorry.
all right, so we've made it this far together. Let's embark on our final little
Oh my god.
journey.
I think I'm gonna cry.
We
Yeah,
do
but-
have oat
Is
milk.
this plain?
It looks plain. We do have oat milk if we need.
Oh,
some.
we might drink that oat milk in a second here.
Cantina chips.
What are they?
Cantina chips. They're just.
Oh,
normal.
thank God.
Chips. You guys didn't pass at all.
No.
Surprise!
I think
you're
good
this is
job,
gonna-
and I think the shot first was the right idea too.
Oh,
This was the surprise that I wish you had. If you had passed, I would then have revealed to you that I have to eat whatever you pass.
oh no!
That's okay. We've got round 2.
We have round 2. I'm gonna
All
need
right.
that other seltzer.
Maybe we can get some questions.
Yeah, I've got some questions. Man.
Are we ready to talk about the spring market now?
I'll go clean up my desk.
Tim did text us and said he might be fired after this.
So far, so good.
Okay, I will take a glass of oat milk if you
I
wouldn't
can
mind.
see that Dave's typing and it says Jim. I don't know what it is. There's something in your eye.
There is something in my eye. I'm crying.
Don't touch your eyes.
I'm not touching. Oh, okay, that's a bad idea. You're right. Oh my god, it's so hot. How do you feel about the spring market, Jim?
Not quite as spicy as those chips. I think it's slowly going. I think we were just at a conference. Everyone's really concerned about inventory. Anecdotally, like,
Thank you.
we're not bringing two.
Oh, you didn't ask one.
The
I'll also take a tissue.
House
by
next
the
to
way.
mine went up for
Yep.
sale. Sign went up last Monday. Was under contract by end of week. Like, it's just there's a lot of demand out there. I don't really see prices going
Thank
down. I don't see people leaving. There was a chart that I was looking at that
Thank you.
showed the average price, the interest rate that a mortgage is locked
Would
in
you
at
like a
right now. At about 80% or more of all mortgages are a 4% interest rate or below. So even if interest rates are at 6% right now, they go down to 5%. There's not a lot of refinance opportunity out there. Purchases are kind of
Oh,
constrained by a
chocolate's a good
supply
move.
problem.
The real
So-
MVP. Thank you. You want a piece of chocolate? Thank you, Jess.
Whew. Good.
Perfect.
So we will see. It's been moving slowly.
Yeah.
Purchase dominated. We'll see what happens now. There's a lot of uncertainty out there about the Fed and the debt ceiling, all of that fun stuff. So
Yeah, you
that
definitely.
looks nice.
The milk is nice. Everyone has definitely told us that inventory is the highest problem. I think every single person we spoke to at secondary and even at the show before, inventory is the biggest issue. I am actively crying.
Cheers. I just can't right now.
It's fine. I'm just gonna keep this tissue box. I'm like, it's not even controllable. I'm just crying from the spice here. So that's definitely something we'll continue to see. And I think we really need to see new construction grow
Yeah.
as a market. We're actually planning on doing a good amount of content in the coming months on construction
There's just a tear
specifically.
rolling down your cheek.
It's fine.
Like
Don't
a
address
single
it.
tear.
Apparently how I react to spicy foods is crying.
Mhm.
We will be doing feed trivia this summer as well with spicy food. Jim has signed himself up for another round of this. I will not be enjoying the spicy food, thank God. But
Tim will get his comeuppance.
Tim will get his comeuppance, and as well as Isaac, our sales executive, has agreed to join us as well for the feed trivia with spiciness. But yeah, we definitely will see. We're building a lot of content right now around new construction to help out our lenders, to give them additional knowledge and awareness around the just honestly increasing volume in the construction market. So we're excited about that moving forward. Is there more spicy things coming?
We have more,
No more
questions.
spicy.
No more spice. Good.
Oh, good.
Do we have more questions? Like what are?
Yes.
Oh, good.
So one of the things I wanted to talk about actually today is two major lenders in the last week and a half have introduced 0 to 1% down payment programs, including Rocket has introduced a 1% program. And then Movement announced today a 0% down payment program with a second mortgage to cover the 3.5%. What do you think of those programs? And are they, I think for me, they're a little bit scary, but I don't know what your thoughts are.
I haven't looked into how it's working. And I think anything you see there by a company like that, people aren't necessarily doing it out of the goodness of their heart. But at the same time, it could be addressing a problem right now in the industry, which is, those upfront, a 5%, a 10%, a 20% down payment is definitely cost prohibitive. With interest rates being what they are, paying money now and having an interest rate that's still lower than whatever inflation isn't the worst thing in the world. It reminds me of something I was hearing about during the Great Recession. So it was about 2008. There were no one was buying cars. and I believe it might have been Hyundai, Toyota, something like that. They people needed cars. They were waiting to buy new cars because they were concerned about the economy. They were concerned about their jobs. So this car company came out with if you lose your job, you basically give the car back.
Yeah.
And sales went like crazy. They weren't doing anything malicious necessarily. It was just addressing the biggest fear at the time. So it is nice that companies are doing those things to address something like that.
Well, and I think in some states it has a lot of value. For example, I recently saw that like Philadelphia is a great city. It's a better financial decision to purchase than rent. And there are a lot of cities right now where that is not the case. My mouth is still on fire. But one of the things that I think is really important is Philadelphia has some of the highest closing costs in the country, right?
Yeah.
Pennsylvania is just a really expensive cost state to close loans in, kind of excluding New York, right? Like, let's just get that out of the way. And in those states like those, it might have a big benefit, right? Because all of a sudden, in some states you can actually put 3.5% down without your closing costs, right? But in a state like Pennsylvania, you're realistically looking at 6.5%, 7% once you would factor in your closing costs without a seller's assist.
You're paying 2% in the Philly tax alone.
So some areas, I think these programs make a lot of sense, and other programs, I think it can kind of put people in a negative position. I've spoken to some people about it before. My parents were people who probably shouldn't have gotten a mortgage in 2007.
Wow.
And they're very grateful to own a home, and it's worked out for them. But there were some moments that it was a little touch and go.
Yeah.
And I think that's also important to recognize.
And it depends on your situation, even something like buying points down or things like that, depending on how long you plan to stay in your home, it could make more sense than not too. There usually a lot of these things have a break-even period where it makes sense. But if you think it's likely you may move in a couple of years, you may not be able to kind of realize the full return on that type of cost.
Yeah. I know we have another thing. Roy is saying the spicy is not working. I promise you, Roy, my mouth is on fire. And I have cried on this podcast.
Be grateful you aren't near my burps right now.
And then I don't know what else is happening in the chat. There's a lot of Dave.
Yeah.
There's so
Glad
much.
he joined.
So glad. I think there's something in your eye. Give them straight pepper. Dave, that's just me.
There's another plate of something here too.
There's another plate. Let's move on to the second plate that I'm scared of.
Wonderful. Okay, so after this plate, we have one more question. If you guys want to answer it. But this is the second leg of our journey together.
The second leg.
Okay, so this is gummy edition. You may see these. Seeing them won't help you as much. And to anyone who might be wondering, are these? The answer is no.
Okay.
So we'll just start with these guys. And you now know the rule that whatever you want to pass, I have to eat.
This looks like
Both
a
of
peach ring.
It's gonna be like super sour.
They're gonna be so sour.
You're familiar with just unrelated. You're familiar with Bertie Bott's every flavored beans.
Am I allowed to smell it
Mhm.
before I pass?
Sure, by all means.
He's like, it's not gonna help you.
So,
It's- You're okay.
Are you afraid? Are we feeling?
It's a
very
nice little
good.
peach ring.
pretty good. Yeah.
Lucky you. Lucky you.
See, I feel less nervous about the gummies, which is probably
I'll take a gross
Crap.
flavor over spice, but
yeah. And you're not gonna burn my insides, so it's fine. I don't see any added ghost pepper on these.
There's no added ghost
so-
pepper. That would
Yeah.
be.
You have the ghost pepper with you, or no?
Yeah.
Good. You might have to take a shot of that.
we might bring Tim in here at the end and just make him have a ghost pepper chip just for fun, guys.
Mm.
I will do that. It's only fair.
I'm doing a watermelon. It looks safe.
Yeah.
Are we good?
No.
Yeah,
No.
Okay.
it's a nice little watermelon
Where's
flavor.
like the booger flavor one of those?
The square ones are what's terrifying me, honestly.
I don't know. We're just gonna ride that false sense of security into the next one.
It does look like a booger or a cat.
It looks like a turtle.
Oh. I don't trust that color, but
You don't
No,
trust the
not
color.
also not gonna pass on anything, and then we'll just have.
I think that's
I'll
the
call
choice.
you the
Are we
ghost.
just gonna take? Okay, we're just gonna make him take a ghost pepper chip at the end, and we're just gonna do this.
Yeah.
It's a little blue turtle.
all sour.
And sour? Okay. A creeping sense of sour.
Are we gonna make some questions, or are we just gonna?
How about we save time? Let's go to the question that we had about lenders and automation.
Oh, Oh, okay. Yeah.
While we finish up here.
So one of the things we
Keep
spoke
going if you
about
can.
at our mid-year summit is the spice is still getting to my brain. It's totally fine. Is we thought that automation was going to be the biggest drive of the beginning of 2023.
Yeah.
And the question kind of is where do we think that's brought us and where do we think we are?
It's super fragmented. When we were at the ice show experience, that was the thing everyone was looking at, right? Automation. How do we not hire as many people when things get busy again, right? And I think automation means so many different things to different people, and there's different ways of going about it, different solutions that you can have. That there's no one size fits all, and there's so many tools out there, and I feel like people are going from they're going from walk to the fast lane of the highway in terms of like no automation. Let's just use AI. So, it's not a great answer, but in looking at these things a little bit more, you just have to understand, you have to really know your processes well and figure out where things make sense and where it doesn't. One of our clients, I really like their approach, New Jersey Lenders Corp. Shout out to Jason Cohen, professional poker player. They automate the sending of their disclosures, but they started with New Jersey, where they're based, conventional loans. They now automate about 30% of the disclosures that go out, and they're just building from there. So don't look for a one-size-fits-all solution. Start with something kind of easier, and then just grow from there.
God.
We're going to have what I think is root beer.
What I think is root beer, but probably won't be. It's very spicy.
That's the ghost pepper on your residual chip. There's nothing spicy about it.
What is this very looking thing?
Actually, the hard candy I think is the scariest thing.
All right, we have these sugar-free Haribos.
Are you just thinking of the Amazon review?
Yeah. See you would help sugar-free Haribos.
So if anyone ever wants a little bit of joy in their life,
Yeah.
you should just look up like bad Amazon reviews. And there's one on sugar-free Haribos that is absolutely beautiful. I also really like the one on 5 Hour Energies where the guy fills like a 32-ounce like cup of 5 hours and is like, I have cleaned my entire house and everything is bad. I haven't slept in 3 days.
It's like the Pedro Pascal coffee order from
Yeah.
Starbucks. He basically has like 8 shots of espresso.
Yeah, that sounds terrifying. Absolutely.
People try it and can like hear their hair grow.
Don't eat it, Tim. No, we're making Tim eat it.
Yeah.
Honestly, Roy, he has created this, and he's totally. I will
Oh
say,
yeah, you probably have a higher spice tolerance than us. We're gonna put the spice on too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Depending on how these go, this
Okay.
is definitely a sugar-free Haribo.
there's nothing about this that says it's friendly. All of these have been normal.
See, I feel confident that there's not that many gross gummies out there for sale. So whereas like the
That
spice,
hard
like, you
candy
knock it
really
up.
scares me.
Like butterscotch or something.
So, Isaac, could you tell me how many followers we're at our YouTube right now? I'm just trying to think of a thing. So if we can get you're at 52. If we can get to 55 followers, we will double the amount of spice we're gonna put on Tim's chip.
Oh, I like that.
So
I've already plated 4 chips, which is the amount that you had to eat over that.
Oh,
we're gonna make you eat
spice up
one.
Yeah,
we're only gonna make you eat one.
terribly spicy.
But-
We'll pick the biggest and the one that's already got.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if we hit 55 currently, we'll do. Oh God, I'm terrified.
Oh, that's sour.
I should have Warhead.
I've been at Warhead a long time.
Oh God.
Okay. So I guess we can pull back the curtain now. This was an exercise in psychological torture that, because of your extreme bravery, didn't work very well. These were all of them completely normal gummies with one warhead, which is just a warhead.
Was there a sugar-free Haribo in there?
No, there's normal
There's normal
Haribos. It
Haribo,
ended up
okay.
being a very pleasant gummy snack from a friend to friends
I appreciate it.
as an act of psychological torture. So
I appreciate
Well, that's gonna help your situation a little bit.
a little bit.
Mm.
Well,
What?
I'm rooting for 54 so Tim doesn't get hurt. Roy, you're such a kind person, honestly.
I'm glad we did the shot first. I would not be.
You would not be as tolerable to this.
to quote
Yeah.
Chicago, he had it coming.
I appreciate that, Roy. But so I will say in regards to automation, one of the things that we're seeing a lot of banks and credit unions really invest right now.
Powder's at the bottom. Give it a good shake.
Let's see.
Okay. We're gonna give it a few seconds. Isaac, where are we at with followers?
You want to coat the chip and then coat the other side.
Okay, you coated the chip.
You can do a lot more. I figured.
Oh, this is a light amount of seasoning.
Great.
We're at 53. What was it?
You can-
Okay, perfect. So, okay. Oh gosh, I don't think I can flip this over without it all falling
Yeah.
off.
We're just gonna do one side here.
54.
Uh-oh.
Okay. We're gonna give it a minute.
we have
I'm gonna
any
talk
more
about my
questions?
thoughts on automation.
We actually have questions from the team too.
Do we have any questions in the chat? No, I think questions from the team. We meant to talk about some mortgage things while
Okay.
Tim tortured us. to
Also,
keep it-
warheads are pretty good. I've had a warhead in like 20 years.
Not bad.
Yeah, and once you get by the sour, I'm like, this is nice and lemony. I'm enjoying this.
It's a nice little lemon, like.
Yeah.
It's mixing weird in my stomach, but that's a separate problem.
Yeah.
But I will say, we're seeing a lot of banks and credit unions investing in their tech stack right now.
Mhm.
I think that's a really big thing. And realistically, right, the cost to produce a loan is not going down right now.
$11,000.
It's a crazy number.
Mhm.
But we really need to be focusing on those dollars and cents. I think that's something that I talked to a couple lenders about at secondary is when I worked in the hospitality industry, you had to price out. We hit 55. I'm flipping this chip over and adding some ghost pepper. Sorry, Roy.
Shall I? On camera?
Yeah, you can come on camera,
All right.
come hang out.
The marketing guy.
Manager who's significantly taller than Dave.
He's significantly taller than all of us.
Yeah, that's better hair.
Okay.
He does. Okay, we're good. So we're gonna let Tim eat this chip.
Yeah.
Are you good?
Nice while it lasted,
Thank you.
Lodestar.
Enjoy.
Cheers.
Your only comeuppance.
You're only comeuppance. We promise.
Yeah.
Tim did send us a text message yesterday. He's like, I might have a job tomorrow at 2:00. So
Oh,
he's
good,
definitely
good.
going to still have a job, but we are going to make you eat a ghost pepper chip. Yes. I feel very vindictive. Oh, the real MVP.
All right.
So while we just let that sit for a minute because it does get worse the longer it
Yeah.
sits.
And then you swallow,
Yep.
and it begins.
And it begins. Is we really see, I was pricing out cost of every single item on my menu, trying to figure out how it accounted for the overall cost to the restaurant in food costs and beverage costs. And coming into the mortgage industry, I'm talking to lenders that are just now doing that as an exercise. And I would encourage any lender that has the time and the resources to do that right now. Especially since you're not going to have the time once you get busy. You're not going to have the time when volume comes back. So now's the time to really make sure that your processes, your procedures are rock solid, and are really going to be in a position to produce more revenue
Mhm.
when the volume comes back.
I just finished a book called Atomic Habits,
Mhm.
which talks about basically small improvements, like 1% improvements every day lead to 3.7 times better than you were a year ago. Right?
Mhm.
And I think that's a way to look at your process too, even if you're cutting $5 here, $10 here, $20 here. If you're continually doing that and creating a culture for that, suddenly that's 6-figure savings. Like it really adds up, especially when you're busier. So that's what we see kind of the more forward-thinking folks doing right now.
For sure. And now we're going to come back to Tim, whose mouth is on fire, and we're going to make him talk a little bit. Tim, do you want to tell us about your process for Tale of Two Mortgages, our lovely comic strip every week?
Okay.
Because the more you talk, the worse it gets.
Yeah, I'm aware. Tested all of this last night. So, by way of a tiny history lesson, we were originally going to do like an infographic about what it would look like to produce a mortgage with a competent tech stack and without, and what differences that make. And that changed into a comic, which then bloomed into a weekly strip, which I write and draw. So you want to know like how I draw it? So I draw it digitally on an iPad. Sorry, it's so hot. It's so hot.
That's why I asked you this question.
I'm trying
I
to
like it.
talk slower because you want to just like so I draw them digitally. I convert them to vector graphics in Adobe Illustrator, yay, Adobe Suite. And I can then digitally color them to our brand colors. So I'm not like mixing paints or doing anything like that with physical media that's repetitive. I can just automate the process of picking colors. And oh my God, it's hot. It's really hot. I read.
There's some milk. You should have it.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I read the news, mortgage-related news, keep up with industry headlines, try to talk to LOs and anybody who will share stories and ideas while we're at conferences. And
I feel like you've done a lot of horror stories from that too.
yeah, there was one, almost touched my eye. There was one lender who told me a story about an early in her career. She was just an LO at a shop, and she had somebody come in, and I think that they were like, all right, let's start, they were getting information from her, trying to do a credit check. And she says, okay, hold on. And she reaches into her shirt and pulls out a stack of cash. And while she's doing so, there was like a baby squirrel in there.
I forgot about the
Yeah,
baby
and she's like, oh, hold
squirrels.
up, sorry about that. And then proceeded to like give her address and her annual income and stuff. And it was like, this loan officer is just
Yeah.
like, I just wanted to pre-approve you. Like, why did you bring a baby squirrel in my office? So
Can't leave her at home.
well, I mean, that's true. So, but yeah, I try to seek people out at conferences,
Yeah.
DM me your crazy stories, let me know. And, we can just kind of poke fun at the process, laugh at the industry's expense. Politics has comics. We should too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how are you feeling, Tim? Before we're gonna wrap up here in a minute, but how would you say a scale 1 to 10?
I couldn't feel my teeth for a little bit because I did the extra flakes. So let's go with 6.5.
Do you feel like your plan backfired?
No, I grow hot peppers and enjoy eating them because of the crazy feeling you get. So that's probably a little unfair, but no,
Yeah.
I was kind of jealous actually.
That we get to eat hot peppers?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Well,
You get to join the party.
over our summer session, we will be doing a lot of fun things. Where Jim and I are going to be talking about the office, who we would hire, who we would let go of if we were to come into the space, and do our decisions to align with Dwight's at the end of the series, because I think that's a big question as
Sure.
well. And then we will also be going ahead in the month of July. We'll be doing some really fun, unique content. One of which will be feed trivia with hot peppers, because Tim is growing them in his backyard and offered them to us. So that'll be a lot of fun. And then in August starts our 10-year anniversary. So we will be tearing apart our old marketing in the month of August. We've got some old content collateral that we're going to pull out for us to review, look at. We'll be using a Wayback Machine to look at our old websites.
Oh, we should get a blow up head of the old guy from the website.
Oh, we should. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
And then we'll kick off season 4 of Lodestar's Lending Leaders the first Thursday after Labor Day of 2023, which will be even more exciting. And hopefully we should have Dave in person for that. So let us know if you like the live, if this is a format that you want to see again. Anything else, Jim, you'd like to add before we wrap up?
I just want to thank everyone, the team, Tim, Isaac, who's not here, Elena, especially John, who's not editing this one, but usually edits. It's great to see the life of its own that the podcast has, and just it's fun being out there and people talking about the podcast and how good of a job you're all doing. So it's just great to see, and it's been fun to do. And thank you all for listening, and thank you the Lodestar team members who logged in as well.
Yeah, and thank you for the Lodestar team members who submitted ideas. Even if we didn't choose your ideas, we might refer back to them for future episodes. It's just a lot of fun to be able to interact with you, and also, in such a personal way, even though, we don't all work in the same office every day.
Don't worry, you've retained your job too. You got to try harder to get fired next time.
Try harder. Don't tell them to try harder.
My kids are grateful.
Well, thank you guys so much, and we'll see everyone in the near future.
Great.
Thank you so much. Bye. Ooh.
And there we go.
That was fun.
And we're out.